Y'all killing me with this.
A lot of times Ethan would try to defend his points by saying, well, who is Hasan to criticize what I'm saying or anything that I'm doing? Hasan's not even a Jew. You know? What the fuck? So Hasan would say, all right, well, if I'm not Jewish, I got a Jewish buddy. You could talk to him. And for a while, Ethan was putting this off. But after that content cop, oh boy, after the content cop, no. Ethan could not put it off any longer. So he finally ends up talking with the token Jew, Sam Seder. Now, I wanted to share a clip from that because this Sam Seder guy, I don't really know jack shit about him. But from these clips, I kind of like his style a little bit. You know what I mean? So let's go to the first time code. And this is going to be Ethan basically trying to weaponize his petty little arguments that and points that he has against Hasan to Sam Seder. And Sam Seder is going to quickly let Ethan know how he feels about that. Let's give it a watch. Let's give it a little
like
bit
the-
of a
also shows a
watch.
tremendous amount of just like electoral malfeasance on her part. I mean, they made an active choice. And I think, you could have put that Palestinian lawmaker from Georgia on stage. They made an active choice to signal to whomever they were signaling that they weren't going to do anything. Now, I happen to believe that she would have been better on this than Trump, but they were making an active choice to do that. I mean, it was really electoral malfeasance on her part, in my opinion. But I don't know what the point of litigating this is per se. But
Well, we're talking about kind of my criticisms of Hasan and how this.
I don't.
Well, let me show you this.
I don't care.
Yeah,
about,
I know.
Honestly, I'm like
Let me show you this. This is
I'm
more.
Not, I don't. I honestly. Like,
Yeah, you don't care. I know.
I don't care. I don't.
Look at that. What the fuck? Look at this. I just met Sam Seder. I already like him. Probably my favorite Jew. You know what I mean? Look at this guy. I like that. So right.
And why should you?
Whoa. Hold up, guys. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So look at that. Ethan's sitting here, and he even tells this guy. He goes, well, these one things that I'm bringing, because this whole thing is ultimately supposed to be like, Sam's basically supposed to hear Ethan out and go like, okay, so like tell me about all the anti-Semitism that you've been experiencing in the world, and I'll kind of like, just help you talk through that, because I myself am a Jew. I've experienced tons of anti-Semitism. This guy talks about how like people have thrown coins at him in the street. That's the level of anti-Semitism this guy has experienced. He's a little older than Ethan. He grew up back in the day. It was like the 1930s. Back then they would throw tons of coins at Jews. I guess they would. I don't know. So this is the whole point of this, right? And now Ethan's trying to like railroad this conversation into being like, well, no, but now these points that I'm bringing up, these are about Hasan specifically, right? I want to tell you about my whole thing with Hasan, And Sam right away is like, well, dude, I don't care about that. I don't give a fuck what kind of bullshit you got going on with some petty ass little argument with some YouTuber that you got, This right here is classic. And it's funny because right after this, Ethan's going to go, well, I know that you don't care, and why should you? And then watch what he does right after that. Let's listen to this one more time.
Per se, but
Well, we're talking about kind of my criticisms of Hasan and how this.
I don't.
Well, let me show you this.
I don't care.
Yeah,
about,
I know.
Honestly, I'm like
Let me show you this. This is
I'm
more.
Not, I don't. I honestly. Like,
Yeah, you don't care. I know.
I don't care. I don't.
And why should you? I don't blame you. We talked about anti-Semitism, and you think that I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? But you seem to have conveyed that, compared to the destruction and everything happening, the genocide, the loss of life in Gaza, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, that.
I love this. So you notice how Ethan, he wants to make a big point about whatever he's about to try to show Sam having to do with Hasan, right? And when he has that specific issue, You can hear the passion in his voice. He wants to get to that point, right? He's even trying to like cut off Sam to get to that point. And then he gets to the part where he starts talking about the stuff that's happening in Gaza to the Palestinian people, my people. My heart goes out to them. So, what's it called? He's talking about these Palestinian people. As soon as he starts talking about their struggle, you can hear it in his voice. He kind of like almost, tumbleweeds it. You could hear it. He goes, well, and then having to do with, like the humanitarian and the struggle and, the devastation and the destruction. And he might as well be going, and going back to Gaza, blah, blah, blah. And then back to my point having to do with Hasan. This is classic Ethan right here.
That's, compared to the destruction and everything happening, the genocide, the loss of life in Gaza, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
And then he kind of catches himself and he starts like ramping it back up. You could see he started falling off as soon as he started talking about something that he doesn't give a fuck about, probably. I don't care. It's like I'm not, free Palestine or on Israel side. I don't care. I got bills at home. You know what I mean? It's like until something happening, it sucks that what's happening over there, but until the Gaza Strip if the Gaza Strip ends up somehow doubling my rent, I'll start caring a lot. But like I got shit that I got to worry about, right? But you notice he's talking about something that he probably doesn't care all that much about. He's just using it to like weaponize a point, right? He starts to fall off. And then he kind of catches himself. He's like, "Oh, wait a minute. AB is sitting over there. He's watching me. I got to pretend that I give a shit about this."
Obviously, that's way more important. So let me show you an example of something. And again, I know you don't care about the drama. To me, this isn't drama. This is the one.
Oh, wait, hold up. Let's go back to that. I want to see that one more time.
Blame you. We talked about anti-Semitism, and you think that I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? But you seem to have conveyed that, compared to the destruction and everything happening, the genocide, the loss of life in Gaza, and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Now he starts bringing it back up.
Obviously, that's way more important. So let me show you an example of something. And again, I know you don't care about the drama. To me, this isn't drama. This is one of the biggest, most influential streamers spreading something that I think is really dangerous. And you can agree or disagree, but it's a short clip, but I'll show it to you. And you tell me what you think.
This will never happen, but in a totally just world, any kind of, regardless of your background, any kind of fucking Zionist tendency should be treated in the same way as being a fucking rabid neo-Nazi. And you shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher as Felix was posting if they've ever exhibited any sort of like positive feelings about the state of Israel. I'm so serious about this.
Look at Sam. Hold up. Look. When Hasan's talking about this, look at Sam, dude. Sam doesn't give two fucks. Watch this, dude. He just got done telling Ethan he doesn't care about this. And Ethan now is basically just forcing him to watch it. Sam's like sitting there like, I could be at home eating dinner with my wife, my lovely Jewish wife.
Any kind of, regardless of your background, any kind of fucking Zionist tendency should be treated in the same way as being a fucking rabid
this
neo-Nazi.
Guy don't give a fuck right
and
now.
You shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher as Felix was posting if they've ever exhibited any sort of like positive feelings about the state of Israel. I'm so serious about this.
Now, I'm super serial about this. I am super serial. So I know I was zooming in on Sam and stuff like that. I'll fill you guys in on what Hasan said. He's basically said, he's like, anyone who is exhibiting like positive feelings towards Israel should be treated as like a neo-Nazi and shouldn't be fit to even be like a dog walker or some bullshit like that, right? In essence, that's what he's saying. And he's saying, and he tries to strengthen this by saying, anyone who's exhibited positive feelings about Israel at any time in their life, if you've ever thought Israel was cool, like we all did back in the day, bro, then you shouldn't even be able to like walk dogs. First of all, nobody wants to walk dogs. I mean, That's what we have immigrants for, I thought, right? And trust me, those jobs are gonna Trump's deporting people, bro. So there's gonna be job openings for dog walkers, all right? But that's beside the point. Now, basically, he's hyperbolic about it, but he's basically saying that Zionists, you know what I mean? If you're a Zionist, you shouldn't be treated with respect. You shouldn't be even fit to walk a dog if you're a Zionist who believes in the genocide of the Palestinian people. It's kind of like what he's talking about, but he's a content creator. He just talks shit. He just says it however he knows it's going to like rile people up, right? And it's working like overtime on Ethan right now. And he's trying to weaponize this point to Sam. And again, Sam doesn't give a fuck.
By the way, he didn't misspeak. He doubled down on it yesterday. He said, no, I agree. That's what I think. Now, just to recap, he says, anyone that's had positive feelings at any point about the state of Israel is a neo-Nazi that's not fit to be a dog walker. Now, to me, that seems like extremely dangerous, dehumanizing language about what could arguably be 70% of the Jewish diaspora, and certainly probably people you know in your family.
I'll tell you, there's some hyperbole there, but
Hyperbole.
That's putting it mildly.
I mean, he says Zion.
I love that. Ethan trying to like now he's like putting his own spin on it. Like so Sam's being realistic here. Just like I said, Sam's saying he's being hyperbolic, bro. Like he's not really like being literal when he's saying that. And whether he's being literal or not, Ethan's sitting there taking his statement and equating it to saying, oh, he means all Jews. When he says anyone who's ever exhibited positive feelings about Israel ever in their life, oh, he's referring to just Jews because only Jews have ever exhibited positive feelings about Israel, you know? And then as soon as Sam puts a realistic spin on it, he's like, well, I think he was being a little hyperbolic. Ethan automatically, well, that's putting it mildly. But why you have to get so literal? Ethan knows exactly what's happening here. And he knows how clickbait works. He knows how clip farming works. He knows what's happening here.
Zionism. And I'll tell you what I think is really...
Sorry, I got to correct you. He says Zionism, and then he says, if you had positive feelings about the state of Israel at any point in your life.
I got to tell you, if you look at what's happening right now, and you have positive feelings about Israel,
He said at any point in your life, Sam. Just to be clear about what he said.
Would I have said at any point in his life, someone's life? But I just think this is such a petty, like the idea that we're going to police. Hold on, let me respond. You want me to respond to this?
No,
I don't. Like I say, I don't care about this. But if you're going to force me to respond to it, what?
Ooh, I like that. Blow him up, Sam. Blow him up. I love this because Sam's telling Ethan, he's like, dude, I don't want to watch this shit. And you're basically forcing me to respond to it. So if you're going to force me to respond, could you just do me the common courtesy of not cutting me off? Because he probably sees Ethan on his call getting ready, getting riled up and shit. And I'm telling you, even before this time code, Ethan was cut. Every time he asked Sam a question and Sam would go to respond to it, he would do exactly what he did. I'm going to have to stop you right there. I'm going to have to correct you right there. I'm Ethan Klein of the H3 Show. And I'm wearing a suit now. And if you don't know, I'm very serious now that I have this suit on. And I will, and he does it with his hand and he goes wild. You know what I mean? Like, and so Sam is sitting there like, bro, come on, man. Like, if you're going to force me to watch this shit, at least give me the common courtesy of letting me fully articulate my response, bro.
About what he said.
Would I have said at any point in his life, someone's life? But I just think this is such a petty, like the idea that we're going to police. Hold on, let me respond. You want me to respond to this?
No,
I don't.
go ahead.
Like I say, I don't care about this. But if you're going to force me to respond to it, what Israel is doing right now is so far beyond the idea that someone says any time in your life or not or whatnot. He's talking about Zionism, and frankly, I think it's very difficult for me to understand how someone could have positive feelings at this time. Now, you want to say in the past and what? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I say, I will grant you at any time in your life that is too broad a step. But wait, let me finish.
Yeah.
But see, you go in and you're making this about anti-Semitism by doing this hopscotch about a poll that people had positive feelings that Jewish people do, and then therefore he is anti-Semitic. And honestly, that type of conflation, I think, is so dangerous.
Oh.
And so disingenuous.
God damn.
I mean, I don't want to get too passionate about this.
No.
But I'll tell you something.
Yo, wait, hold on. Speak your truth, Sam. Speak your goddamn truth. Look, this guy is about to really get fucking riled up here. Cause he's Jew. You know what I mean? And now he's talking to fellow Jew. And he's like, bro, what you're doing right now, like, you're gonna put a target on all of our backs, bro. We got it sweet right now. And you're fucking it up for the rest of us, man. You're really fucking it up for the rest of us. He's basically saying, it's 2025, bro. People are more tolerant than they've ever been. Yeah, people are going crazy on Twitter, but they've always thought that. Now they're just finally letting it out. Nobody's doing it in real life. You know what I mean? Like, so he's like, yo, chill, bro. Like, yeah, there's anti-Semitism out there, but this ain't it. You know? And you're going to make it get to a point to where people are going to have like a cry wolf mentality when it comes to anything that Ethan says is anti-Semitic, you know? Eventually, if you got somebody who's constantly, it's like every time the wind blows one of your shutters shut on your window, it's anti-Semitic. It's like eventually people are going to be like, he thinks everything is anti-Semitic, you know? And that's how Sam is saying that this is dangerous, right? And this is something that Ethan fails to understand. It's like, yeah, when you have that big of a microphone like Ethan does, it's like you can't make this your only point. And then everybody is sitting there like just taking everything you're saying with a grain of salt now. And that's the danger that Sam is bringing upon this. And he's about to get passionate about it, but he doesn't want to get too passionate about it. You know, this it's so funny. Look at this guy. He's like a caricature of like a Jew. You know what I mean? But not like one of those, he's not like a caricature of like that people make in like the comics where it's like a Hasidic monster, you know what I mean? With the crazy nose and shit. It's not like one of those. He's like, he's like a caricature when somebody's like someone in Hollywood, like a comedian like Ari Shaffir. He goes, oh, I got the greatest accountant. He's a Jew. You know what I mean? This guy will find you fucking tax returns that you didn't even know could be tax returns. You know what I mean? Like, and this is him. Every single time that somebody's talking about one of those accountants, it looks like this. This guy. It might not have the beard attachment. He might have the 1.0 version without the beard attachment. But this is like, he's like a caricature of like that type of person. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny. And he's about to get pissed off with Ethan's conflations.
Then, therefore, he is anti-Semitic. And honestly, that type of conflation, I think, is so dangerous and so disingenuous. I mean, I don't want to get too passionate about this, but I will tell you something. I have had a guy who went to my bar mitzvah, my sister's bar mitzvah, my kid's bar mitzvah, sat at Passover with me 3 or 4 times, call my father and ask him if I'm anti-Semitic.
Imagine that.
Now, this is just one that is just an example, an illustration of conflating when he's clearly talking about Zionism. Was it hyperbole to say any time in life, whatever? The fact of the matter is this conflation is dangerous for Jews. It is a fig leaf and a way of weaponizing anti-Semitism that has enabled Donald Trump to do the shit he's doing. That has enabled the slaughter of...
Hey, whoa. Donald Trump, bro, chill, dude. You cannot be talking shit about the Great White Hope like that. All right? Calm that shit down. This guy is really getting passionate about this, you know? If he's bringing Trump's name into this shit, Trump's sitting at home minding his own goddamn business. What the fuck? You know, but no, Trump, I'm telling you guys, if you voted for him, you need to check your boy. You need to check your boy. That guy, it's so funny. Trump, he goes, as soon as he gets in the office, he's like, we're cutting all aid to Ukraine. Ukraine will not get a cent from America. We will make America first. And in the same breath, he goes, we're sending $14 billion to Israel. We're giving them all the weapons that they need, kamikaze missiles. We're giving them everything. We're building hotels in Gaza. We're gonna make Gaza great again. You know what I mean? Like, Trump's going on, bro. But you can't talk about him like this, because he's gonna start turning on you guys. You know what I mean? Don't do it. So it's so crazy. This is the dangerous stuff that Sam's talking about. This guy said that he had a guy who went to his bar mitzvah, his wife's bar mitzvah, his son's bar mitzvah, his granddad's bar mitzvah. He went to what else do they do when they poke the hole through the sheet? And he was there for that, right? And the same guy calls his father and asks his father if he's anti-Semitic. That'd be like calling that'd be like Wesley Snipes' best friend calling his dad and being like, is Wesley Snipes black? You know what I mean? Like, that would be crazy. Wesley Snipes is dark as fuck. You know? So it's like, that is wild, right? That this guy has gone through that. And it's because of stuff like this that Ethan's doing.
Thousands upon thousands of children and women and men, for that matter. It is not keeping Israelis safe. And this type of conflation, Ethan, is what I find far more irresponsible, frankly, than the idea that he said positive any time. I mean, look, you do a show
Sam,
4 hours a day. He does a show 5 or, as far as I could tell, 15 hours a day. And to focus in on that one tiny clause.
This is not one tiny clip, Sam. Well, you don't know. This is a totality of behavior.
But you
and
wanted
by the
to
way,
bring
it's
this up.
easy, and I appreciate that you can hand wave it away and say that it doesn't.
No, I'm not hand waving it away.
You kind of
I'm
are.
saying this
You're saying
conflation.
It doesn't. You're saying actually I'm wrong for caring about it.
No, yes. In fact, I'm saying this conflation is incredibly dangerous. It is disingenuous.
I think it's dangerous
right now,
to ignore what's being described as dehumanizing, violent language for American Jews.
Look, Ethan, this is childish as fuck, bro. This is childish as hell. Like, he's as soon as Sam says something that he doesn't like, right? Sam expresses his point explicitly, okay? You know, conflation, and as soon as Sam does, like a child, Ethan goes, well, I'm happy that you can, hand wave it away because, you clearly don't care about Jews the same way that I care about Jews, Like, I care about them so much compared to you. Look at this guy. He's fucking unhinged, you know what I mean? This guy is insane, bro. He's insane. And look, watch this one. This is funny. Before we get into the Hasan Piker, I want to show you guys. Let's lighten up the mood a little bit, because that was rough to choke down. And I'm telling you, we're not here for that. We're trying to have a good time. You know what I mean? So I want to show you guys this one. This shit had me dying, bro. Look, watch.
He's blazing a blunt. I mean, that's on camera.
Look.
Right. But that's, people know that he smokes weed.
Well, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Listen, it's been a
They're
while since I
talking about
smoked weed,
Justin
but that
Bieber
can make
right
you
now,
act a little
right?
cuckoo.
How
Yes,
Justin
absolutely.
Bieber's been looking a little crazy lately in the paparazzi and all the videos that are showing up online. He looks like he's on drugs. Now he's at a concert looking like he's on drugs.
Totally.
Acting cool.
What? That posture is wild.
That's what a lot of people were talking
Look,
about.
pay attention to Justin
And people
Bieber.
are even looking at him like, what is this dude? Like, I feel like if he wasn't Justin Bieber, people would be looking at him like, what is going on here?
Look,
But he has been doing this posture, to be fair.
Is that like a gag?
Well, do you guys remember that one
Pay
where he
attention
was
to that
like
neck.
talking about the Bible or something, and he was sitting in the staircase? He was doing the same posture. Is this a signature JB move?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
This is more
I know
than
where
I've
he
ever
learned it.
seen. This is more quasi than I've ever seen.
More
Check me
goblin.
out.
Show my screen, Nate.
now look at that one. That's Ethan. Look at that. What the fuck? Ethan got that coffee table neck. Look at this. Watch. If I have my coffee cup, Look, you could rest the whole goddamn pitcher on that guy, on that motherfucker's neck. Whoa, dude, what is happening? I don't know. Look at his neck, dude. He's sitting there making fun of. Oh, look, and this Denims girl. Look, Ethan's arch nemesis. staring down that neck. Now she's going to have the fuel that she needs to talk shit about Ethan once she sees Ethan's coffee table neck. You know what I mean? Hey, bro, what's the weight capacity on that thing, man? I need a step stool. You know what I'm just saying? So I wanted to just lighten it up a little bit because we got some other stuff. We're going to get into Ethan's actual debate with Hasan Piker in just a minute. But before we get into that, I wanted to share with you Ethan's ultimate tick out. You know, keep it light for a little bit longer before we get into the drag that's going to end up being Ethan versus Hasan Piker.
And hold my fart like a bong rip.